Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Plebcast. My name is Miles David, and joining me, as per usual, is our favorite analyst. Up there is Slayer, down there is TDS. You know them, you love them, and we're gonna hear more from them because you know what? Semifinals is done. Both of them were super exciting, of course. 5 matches for each. The quality varied depending on the day that you watched, of course. But you
Wait,
know
hold
what?
on. Hold on. Wait, hold on. Hold on.
All right, Slayer.
They were fun?
Yeah,
Question mark?
weren't they?
Depends on who you're asking, right?
Weren't they? Don't you think they were
Depends on-
fun?
No.
Why not?
No.
Yeah.
Depends on who you're asking. I feel
Like from a purely entertainment perspective, don't you think? Don't you think it was fine? We did get 5 game series.
Yeah, but
We got
sadly,
back and forth.
as you said, I'm an analyst. I write stuff about this.
Listen, man.
For me, it wasn't fun.
yeah, my T1 lost, so for me it wasn't fun either.
It's so unfortunate, TDS.
I mean, listen, TDS, that's what happens when you switch from the Hopium to the Copium.
no, it was 5 games. So the Hopium was there. The problem is that it didn't last long enough. But it was
Yeah,
there.
it's a curse if you go 2-1 in a series. It's a
Yeah.
curse for the guy who's up the game, apparently. Anyway, for those of you guys who didn't know who are living under a rock, our finalists are gonna be DK and EDG. So LPL versus LCK
Tomorrow.
finals once again this
Tomorrow.
year. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're in EST, it's tomorrow, I believe. Yeah. For people in Europe, it's already. I think it's already
It's
midnight.
not for all
so.
of them. But not all of them for yeah. I mean,
Yeah, basically. All right, so guys.
Saturday. Let's call it Saturday.
All right, guys. Let's go a bit more in depth since we're talking about it. What did you guys think of the semifinals? Obviously, not as high quality as you'd expect, but sir, you can go first. Go ahead.
think both of them were
The floor is yours to rant. Go ahead.
I think both of the series were exactly the same series, but we watched different teams. That's what we saw. You know why? Because everything went like a movie. It's like the favorites won the first game, and all of a sudden they fell off a cliff for the next 2 games, and then they decided, yeah, we're favorites. Let's just stomp them in 4 and 5. That's basically what happened.
Favorites.
Not like it's like exactly we watched the same movie twice but with a different cast. That's pretty much what happened to me in my because I'll tell you why.
It's the direct. There's
When
there's
you-
this
when you-
movie, then there's the director's cut. So
No, I mean-
that's it.
No, I mean when you think about
Okay.
Damwon and when you think about Canyon and Showmaker, you never think Canyon's ever gonna miss a smite. He missed smite twice in a game.
Yep.
Like that's like if you're one of your best players is missing smites twice in a game, you're never winning that game. Let's be fair. That's game 2 in a nutshell. Game 3, again he disappeared. If Canyon just basically is like, hey, I'm gonna disappear, it's fine. You guys can handle it. That's when you start going, yeah, DK's not supposed to win that game. They didn't. DK lost 2 games like that, EDG lost the same way like that, except in EDG's case, Viper basically decided, hey, I'm just gonna stand here so that you can kill me.
Oh yeah. I remember. I remember actually going to bed when both teams, when Damwon was like 1-2 and when EDG was like 1-2. I woke up to see them winning the series. So.
Basically, the whole thing went the same way until the game 4, both the mid-laners decided no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both the mid-laners decided no. This is ours. And both the mid-laners won, and then 5th game was a complete stop. Basically the same movie. Go on, tedious.
Yeah,
Right.
for me, I can dig that. For me, it was. I do think that both series were similar. I do gotta say I think that T1DK was higher quality than EDG Genji. I think that it was EDG
I
Genji
agree with
was
that one.
than I expected.
EDG was
It
a
was
slug, but it was a mud
the
fight.
thing is in my mind EDG should have won that 3-0. Not 3-1, not 3-2. So the fact that they were taken to 5 games with Genji worries me. Even though they kind of woke up the last game,
I knew you were
don't think
gonna
the
say
fourth
it.
game.
I knew you were
I don't
gonna
think
say
the
it.
fourth game was a stomp. I think Genji could have won that. Which worries me once again. I think that they could
I
have
don't
won
think
the
they
fourth
could have
game.
won. I don't think they could have won the fourth game. You know why?
I really do think.
No, because Scout had the eye. Scout had it eye has it eye on the prize. Scout was literally like, nope, not today.
Yeah, the problem is that I don't
Not today.
I don't think that's something consistent enough that I can bank on. First of all, with a scout, not saying that he is not going to perform, but he has to overperform consistently to be able to do that. And I just don't think he's going to be able to do it.
Be honest, Showmaker did the same thing in
doing it
Game
against
4.
NG.
I mean, Showmaker did the same thing in Game 4. It's like, oh, my team's letting me down, fine. I got this.
The difference is Showmaker has done it in Worlds twice already, because that he did it as well in the last year's Worlds, and he has done it now once again. So Showmaker is consistent.
I would disagree that he had to do it last year, because I think
He was the clear best mid laner in Worlds. He was the clear best mid laner.
I mean, he was, but so was the clear best jungler in the world, Canyon, who never had an off game because he won Finals MVP. Duh.
Yeah, but I still think he's still that's still true
and then
here.
he had the clear best top laner in the world, which Khan wasn't in this series, by the way.
Yeah,
Khan
no.
completely disappeared.
Khan
went somewhere.
Was sad. Khan kind of was sad to watch. That matchup was better on paper than it was in reality. That is something unquestionable.
I mean, Khan basically said, "Hey, I'm gonna take a."
I do think though that, and I think I wrote this previously. I don't think that we're going to see the same DAMWON we saw against T1 against CDG, because I think that Korean teams respect Korean teams way more than they respect Chinese teams and any other team in the world. So the fact that I think that DAMWON were much more worried about something inexistent with T1 that they would be with EG. And I think that the performance from Khan is not going to be seen again against Flandre.
I think we're gonna see Khan's performance again. I'm sorry.
The thing is, this is normal. Korean teams and Korean players usually are much more wary when they play against Korean players than they are against other players, and that is something that is common.
Yeah. The reason I'm worried is because when Khan played like that, it didn't feel like he was underperforming. It felt like it was nerves. He's done this before. He has a history of not showing up.
Of choking, you mean?
Yes.
At Worlds?
Yes.
Well, the only time that I can remember he clearly choked at Worlds was 2017. And it was due to things apart from his team and his performance that it was uncontrollable. So there is a history, but I don't think that it's going to impact this time. And because I think that he was, I think, and I legitimately think this way, DAMWON was much more worried about T1 than they are about any other team. So I don't think that it's going to replicate.
I think they said that themselves. Yeah, they said that themselves. I believe.
Like DAMWON, it's kind of like when FPX was much more worried about T1 than G2. It's because some teams and some players do show up in certain circumstances or in certain places where teams just have to be much more worried about the potential of what could happen against this team than with other team. So I don't think that is going to happen with DDG.
I mean, we can talk about T1, since they are exiting they did exit the tournament, so we can talk a bit about them. And the T1 that showed up this Worlds.
My skin.
I mean,
the T1 that showed up this Worlds, right?
All I'm saying is DAMWON versus T1 just exemplified one thing.
What?
Showmaker is clearly the best mid laner in LCK. He was basically outplaying Faker in every single game. And it's already close.
I mean, game one.
I think Faker. I think Showmaker and Faker went toe to toe until game 4.
I mean, to be fair, also Faker just did not play for lane. Like, remember in game 1 where he just teleported top, caught.
But even then, the Showmaker never did anything that was impactful enough that it mattered if Faker was playing lane or not. So I think until game 4, Showmaker really appeared in game 4. But until game 3, I think they went toe to toe. So it wasn't that clear-cut difference. I do think that Showmaker was, and I said this way before. I think Showmaker is the best mid laner in the world, the best player in the world. First of all, the best mid laner in the world, and the best player in the best mid laner in the SK, 100%. Even though I'm a super fanboy of Faker.
The thing is, like, based on what I saw from that series, for me at least, I don't think Showmaker is going to have as much ease as he did against Scout, because people keep underestimating how good Scout is.
Yeah, I think a lot of people underrate Scout as a player.
They do.
People don't realize how good Scout is, because, and again, if we're gonna talk about DK, the biggest thing that happened was their bot lane was really the bot lane we expected them to
Oh
be.
my gosh.
They were exactly what we expected
I
them
remember
to be.
being so disappointed in Ghost in that game too. I was like when I saw
He
Draven
was
locked in
spin
for
on
Ghost.
Draven and he did nothing.
And I saw Draven locked in for Ghost, and then
He got a good shutdowns with his ultimate. What for me the disappointment was his positioning was lackluster.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
Just
I agree with
playing
that.
back.
I agree with
Like
that.
with
I
Draven,
agree
it's
with
much more positioning wise, but I don't think it'll matter. Like bot lane, really, apart from
I
Nami
think it
Lucian,
will
what
matter.
else has it been?
I think it will matter because T1 has shown the blueprint. Ban Jin. Ban Jin.
No, the thing it's ban Jin, but even then, like if Viper Mako doesn't win lane, which with that even with Nami Lucian they didn't.
Which they did against Genji.
They did, but even
multiple
with that,
times.
It was even with Nami Lucian they didn't. They did sometimes, but they also lost with a lane dominant lane like Nami Lucian. So it's
because
not like I can bank on that.
It's not because they didn't. It's because Viper kept mispositioning every single time.
Which is something that can happen again. One of the things that Ghost and Pleb do so
and the thing is,
survive long enough that it doesn't matter. So
Yeah,
that is
Wait, guys, tell each other's points first. You guys are mixing up. Alright, Slayer, go with your point first.
No, we're
If
in
I'm
the
going-
fight right now.
if I'm going to say this, based on the semifinals, Ruler and Life was much better than Scouter, like Beryl and Ghost.
I mean,
People don't give them enough credit.
as a 2v2 lane,
Yes.
I would agree with that.
As
TTS.
a 2v2 lane.
Which is where the real thing is, because the reason why
I'm
got
not really
leads.
convinced with that.
No, EDG got leads and then all of a sudden lost them is because Ruler and Life were ready to fight for it. Ghost and Beryl would not fight for it. They do not care.
The thing is,
That's the
this.
problem.
But at the same time, it was that fighting that netted some of the leads for Viper and Mako. So even though I do agree that Viper and Mako do fight for leads and establish leads much more effectively, it was Genji also allowing them that by trying to fight without needing to. And for me, I don't think it was a clear cut that Ruler and Life were that better. I think that I honestly was so underwhelmed by Ruler and Life. I think the only game that convinced me from Ruler in the whole series was game 2, and that's it. I think Ruler and Life were so underwhelming in the whole series. Life a little bit less, but Ruler was so underwhelming.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to understand that they were facing an actual good bot lane, legitimately good bot lane.
Yeah, I think
on a support player who doesn't play enchanters.
Yeah, and I also think that that also happened with T1 DAMWON. I think that I still carry the idea that Guma, Yushi, Keria are better than Viper Mako. First of all, I think that they are better. They can play more styles. So just around that, I think they're better. But I also think that Burial and Ghost don't need to answer the leads. They don't need to answer the fights. They don't need to fight back because they just need to be there. And they do that so effectively that it doesn't matter even if they don't fight back against Viper Mako. I legitimately think that that in these finals we're going to see 0 kills from Viper Mako coming from the 2v2. I think there's going to be 0.
I think we're going to see 2v2 kills because EDG is going to do one thing that people expect them to.
I honestly think that if it happens, it's going to be Ghost that gets kills.
You know what's going to happen is Mako's gonna stop playing enchanters. It's over. He's basically gonna say, okay, I'm gonna pick Leona. Do whatever
Okay,
you
I
want.
think that Burial's better than him in that.
Nope.
Yeah, he is.
We saw
he
game
has been
5.
showing his words. He has shown that he's better. That he is not only playing back to his level, but he's showing the level that he played when he brought the Pantheon support last week. I think he's better than Mako and
I think where the key
as well.
difference will be. I think where the key difference will be is like feasibly. I think between like the semifinals and the finals is that DAMWON on their strong sides will face more competition than they did against T1 because Flandre is not going to go out silently. If
Flandre is
if at
not
any-
going. Flandre is not going to do that much either. Flandre is a huge rock. He's not going to.
Flandre's
he's
gonna
not
pick
going to win the game, but he's not going
Graves.
to lose you.
Have a lot of grit, scale up into the late game, and then be
Yeah, but that is
be good.
it's going to be a contested pick against for Can. So I think that in comparison to Genji, first of all, Renekton is going to be non-existent. So
Yeah, no one's
that
gonna
already
pick it.
means that you're not going to get an easy time on top lane.
Well,
Secondly, can play the Lucian, even though it wasn't that effective. It is a flex potential that DAMWON can play that EDG has not played at all against in these worlds. So another thing that is going to come into play.
Yeah, but EDG is usually the one team that is usually prepared for this stuff. They usually prepare picks. They don't show much. That's pretty much what they do. Like, who would have expected?
They don't have prepared picks. I think they play really.
They do.
reliant
I
on
absolutely think they do. I absolutely think they have prepared picks
because
because
until
until this series,
what picks do they prepare?
Guys, let each other talk, please. Let each other talk.
Until this series, Andre did not play Jax in the entire tournament. He put out Jax. He just said, okay. Flandre has more. Flandre and Scout has more top lane and mid lane picks on their pocket, which they're not pulling out because they don't need to. The moment they need to, they will pull it out. That's pretty much how they have always functioned. Viper and Mako before this series did not play much of Lucian Nami. They did this series more than not. They have these picks that they have. They're willing to pick it. They're willing to pull it out. The thing is, they're waiting for it because they don't need to. It's for EDG. It's all about matchups. They're not trying to out mechanic you. They're basically trying to outdraft you, most of the time.
They are not going to draft DAMWON, first of all, and the problem is that they can pull those out, and this goes towards one of my previous points with Genji. They can pull those out against Genji. They cannot against DAMWON. DAMWON not only can skill check you, but they have their own picks. Like, I think that same logic about not wanting to show can fall into DAMWON as well. I don't think they have shown everything, first of all, and I don't think they needed to show a lot of things either. I think that T1 was a much harder opponent for them because Korean teams respect themselves much more than other teams. But I think that against CDG, if CDG think that they can pull out Jax blind you or anything like that against Can, they are going to get punished horribly.
They're not gonna do blind. They're going to counter him. That's pretty much.
The thing is, they're not going to be able to get that. Like, even if they do that, they are not going to allow for a pick like that to go unpunished, even if it's a counter pick. So I think that DAMWON will be able to punish EDG much more so. Yeah, well, I don't know why I was thinking Genji. They are going to punish EDG much more so than Genji have been doing. So that's why that also goes into my worry. Like, the only clear game that I was convinced from EDG was Game 5, and it felt. And I was agreeing with one of the comments that I read.
And coincidentally, which was the only game Mako played the engage support.
Because, but it was the only game that I was convinced. So
that's
at
the thing.
least a good sign. But at the same time, the other 4 games were so meh from both sides. Like, EDG and Genji were
I would argue that Game 2 and Game 3 from DAMWON were worse than EDG's games. Because I felt DK was lost.
DK lost after a point. They were winning until Ghost was caught out in Game 2. Until Ghost was caught out. They have complete control until Ghost was caught out in Game 2. If that doesn't happen, they probably can steamroll Game 2
but the thing is,
and Game 3, I think T1 played with really nice macro that EDG does have, but they showed one in one game. not in 4. In only one game they showed great macro. So I'm not convinced that ADG can pull this off. If they take time in a series to build themselves up, that's time that DAMWON will not give them. So that's a worry for me.
I mean, let's say, guys, that this instead of the great macro play, we're thrown into the mud between
Yes.
these two teams. What's gonna happen?
I take DAMWON.
I'll take. If it's thrown in the mud, I'll take ADG.
On the mud, I
take
take
ADG.
DAMWON because I
I'll
think
take
that they are
ADG.
much more willing to they are much more scrappy as well. Like DAMWON is a team that can look good strategically and can look good scrappily. I think that EDG can look awesomely great, perfect strategically, and scrappily. Like I don't think they are a good scrappy team because that's not how they win. So I'm not super convinced on that.
I actually think
I mean,
EDG
in the
EDG
grand
is
final,
the kind of team. EDG is the kind of team that usually opts for a scrap because and it was in the RNG series where they scrapped with RNG and they won out with scraps.
Yeah, they out-scrapped RNG in that one. I've never been much convinced on EDG on that factor just because in LPL they always just thought better against their opponents. So it never felt like they needed to scrap. In the quarterfinals, it was a much more scrappy, but I think that as a scrappy team, ADG just don't function that great in comparison to how they can function if they just play tactically well.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like you can underestimate EDG when they're playing scrappy because they also played that way against FPX in the finals for LPL.
I think they play.
They
They
are willing to scrap. They are
Not
willing
scrappy.
to scrap.
I
That's
mean,
the thing.
They won the game 4
Yeah, they
against
did.
FPX off some of the most scrappy skirmishing and fighting ever.
The game 4, I can see it. I think that the other 3 games were much more tactically played by EDG, and I do agree that EDG is a team that will be winning to scrappy because I think that that's just LPL in general.
Yeah, it's just the
they are
nature.
willing to
It's
go-
like- it's in the nature.
That's just the nature. It's just like how LCK teams, even though they have changed to be a little bit more aggressive and try to be aggressive, there's still that mindset of if we don't need to go that extra mile here, it's not necessary just yet. So
Yeah.
that's just customs that don't like.
For me, this series will actually determined by the top lane, not the bot lane, not the mid lane, the top lane. Because I feel like if Khan never gets a lead early game, Flandre is going to run away with it.
If Khan never appears, pretty much.
No, if Khan
That's the thing.
if Khan
Never
never
appears
gets a
at-
lead early, Flandre will run away with it because that's what he did against Genji. Every single
I feel-
game, Flandre pretty much did. Flandre pretty much did what people were saying. He's gonna be the rock, but
Yep.
he was doing these macro moves and side lane pushing, and he was taking turrets by himself, where EDG was doing something else altogether, and no one could answer him whatsoever.
Yep.
That was pretty much on Flandre, and Flandre pretty much said, "Yeah, game 4 and 5, I'm there." He even played well in the other games.
Yeah.
The reason
I think Flandre is better.
the reason why I feel like Khan will have a better opposition against Flandre is because Flandre is not gonna have an off game. He's not gonna have an off game.
You think Flandre
Khan
is
is
that
also a better
consistent?
top laner.
I think Flandre is also a more consistent and better top lane. Flandre is a better.
I
and
don't think he's
consistent top
better than
laner.
Khan, but I do think that
No,
that
I think
Flandre is
better
more
and consistent than Kana,
Yeah.
at least.
Oh yeah,
That's
duh.
what I'm saying.
Okay, wait.
Yeah.
This
Sorry,
is the
I
name
cut you off.
between
Yeah,
these guys.
1,000%. Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is Khan's not gonna have a layup in the top lane like he's gonna get away with playing like average against Flandre because Flandre is going to take advantage of it. I've been most impressed with Flandre. I've been very impressed with him.
I did say he was maybe the best of laner in the world. Just saying.
I mean,
But-
no, I'm very
without
impressed
taking
with him
credit-
because he has a chip on his shoulder, and
But
I
without
actually
taking credit, yeah.
and I actually feel like I will give Owner credit that he did play well in 2 games from the 5 I've seen, but the other 3 games Canyon ran laps around him.
I feel
I
like
agree.
that's why I would defend much more like and this goes for the criticism towards Kana and Honor. Like I'm fine with criticism. I am willing to defend much more Honor because and I
I
cannot
understand.
explain this.
No,
It was
I
one speed of
understand.
Honor.
No, I understand because Owner did play those 2 games really well.
He
I
did.
agree.
He did. He did.
Yeah, and
But-
for me, and he has just no. What I just want to say, what I just want to finish with Honor is that this is legitimately his first 6 months as a starter for T1. So
Yeah.
I want to give him more leeway because he simply hasn't had enough time. Like he has shown really good things for just 6 months on the biggest stage. So I think Owner should get a little bit more leeway on that.
No, I think he should get a bit of review. I am not going to criticize him that much,
Mhm.
but I'm going to criticize Kana. That was
100%.
awful. That was awful. That was awful.
I agree.
But speaking about Owner, right? He played those 2 games well, but I think the most impressive one was actually Game 3. I believe Game 3 was more impressive because
Yeah.
Game 2, even though he had the steal, it was more on Canyon than Owner. Canyon basically blatantly missed that.
They knew where Owner was. They saw him. They
Saw
even
him.
pushed him.
They saw him.
Still
They had the
stole it.
timer. Everything was there.
Yeah,
Canyon
exactly.
missed the smite.
Right.
Canyon
credit
missed
to Owner
the
for
smite.
most of steal, but that is on Canyon 100%.
Yeah.
Canyon missed it by a mile, and that was not what you expect out of him. Canyon was off on game 2. It was
Listen,
completely off.
listen, you
and
can't-
Owner,
Yeah,
go on.
you can't expect perfection from everyone, alright? Even
Yeah,
from someone like Kanye.
Yeah, but even then, you expect consistency out of him. But Canyon for the next 3 games completely ran laps around him because what Canyon did was Canyon basically was not being tracked for like 10-15 minutes straight.
Yeah,
T1 had no idea where he was.
I remember that happening in game 1 as well, where they just
No,
couldn't track where the
But
hell
what
Canyon
I
was.
would say, and this, I don't think this will happen as much against EDG, because EDG actually tracks really well because JJ has been playing out of his damn mind.
I also
I-
gave credit to JJ before what was
Yeah,
just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, but dude, no one expected him to play this well. He's
I did.
complete. No, he's completely locked in, and I feel like this is a matchup we need to watch, like where JJ just does take advantage out of Canyon because they are similar junglers. They are similar minded. They're not very gank oriented. They pretty much go for their pathing and intelligent counter ganking. That's basically what JJ does. That's basically what Canyon
I
does.
agree. Especially
It-
as we get later and later into the series, right? If we do go, if we get to a game 5 between these two, I think it actually might end up being some legitimately good League of Legends we might end up seeing.
Because the more I think about it, at first glance, I was like TDS. It was like, yeah, DAMWON should win it 3-1 based on how the semifinals went. But as I thought about it more and more, I went towards 3-2, and it could be anyone's series. I am legitimately serious. It could
Are
be
you
anyone's
more excited now than before?
series. Yes. Because the
I
more
wish
I
more
think
people were
about it-
excited, man.
Yeah,
I wish more
no,
people were excited.
No, because the more I think about it, it's more like there is so many good matchups in this series, and if the matchup tilts one way or the other, we just see one team winning out, and then the next game they just come back again because EDG has not lost a single best of single 5 game 5th game this series. They've not lost a single 5th game in the entire year, as far as I know.
I
They
mean,
have played 2. I think.
they have to get
Or
there
3.
though. They have to get there to that 5th game.
Exactly.
They did. They are shaking BO5s. I feel like even though 15 win rates are good, they are shaking.
They are
BO5,
shaky
so
early.
yeah,
early in
like
the
that.
BF5.
That's what they do.
Yeah, they are shaky in BO5. So even
No.
though they do, no, I mean they are shaky because even if it's early, they are shaky. Like if game 5 is all good, but you need to reach game 5. So.
Listen. It's always about EDG where they have to download opponent.
Yeah, they have to download their
But
opponent.
that is shakiness. So
But-
that is still shaky.
But yeah, DK is a
It is
team that
shaky
can
BO5.
also really ride momentum.
Like that's the thing for me, and that's the thing for me. If EDG takes time to get accustomed to a series, right? Then will DAMWON give them that time? And that's the thing. I'm not
The
sure
thing
if
is,
DAMWON will give
I
them.
honestly believe if EDG wins the first game, they bought all the time they can.
Yeah, like I agree. If first game goes to EDG, that's so precious for EDG because they have shown that with first game they can buy themselves time.
I think
So it is important that first game.
I think Medic
it can write a lot.
Medic gave the importance that DAMWON have never lost a series where they won the first game. So, never lost a series when DAMWON have won the first game. So, if EDG win game 1, that's a good indication that we might end up getting to a game 5 series.
Yes.
But DAMWON wins game 1, they could just run away with it. It didn't happen in the last time, but I think a 3-0 is still legitimately possible for DAMWON, honestly.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
The thing is, I really want to see how EDG comes in game 1. Because if they come out swinging, and it was close and they lost, I have more. Then I suddenly have a bit more faith in EDG than I actually did.
What is the chance that
I'm still thinking DK wins. I'm still thinking DK wins.
Yeah, same,
right?
same. I agree.
I think DK has a 60% chance of winning.
But it's better than that is for EDG better than being just a 30 or a 10, a 20, which I do agree they have. Like for me, strategically they are still such a good team. Like if they can get going with they can get going with how they want to play with good drafts, with a nice start to the game. Because this is also something that I've seen EDG that they can do is the first 5 to 7 minutes of the game they do really nice moves, and they can ride that tempo advantage that they gain through any plays that they go for earlier in the game into a nice advantage later on. So I think that those are going to be fundamental for EDG to ride on in the VO5 series, and I think they are capable of doing it. Like I don't want to take the chance from EDG because, and I do want to say this before. I watched previously the series from EDG, but not as analytically as possible. I was on a 3-0 for DAMWON at that point. But after watching it more closely, I do think that there's chance for EDG to take it.
No, there definitely is a chance.
Yeah, but because I firmly believe these are the two best teams in the tournament. Going on, these are the two best teams in the tournament.
I think so.
Because what EDG showed us, and this is, I feel like this is very important, is because they beat even though they both went 5 series, they beat 2 different teams with 2 different styles. RNG is always the one who will go 50-50. Genji will never go 50-50.
They are the 70-30, 80-20 team.
Yeah. So basically, Genji is not willing to scrap. So as EDG, you can't really force a scrap unless the other team is willing to scrap. Which, on the other hand, against RNG, they basically scrap the series out.
Everything.
They're like, we're gonna scrap this out.
Uphill versus uphill. It just be like that.
Funny enough, the game that they won more convincingly was the less scrappy one. Yes. So maybe that's an indicator also of the fact that they don't need to scrap as much.
No, they don't. They don't need to, and they will just fall back on it. That's the thing.
They don't need.
That's the thing. I hope that they realize that
but they're willing to do it. They're willing to do it.
I hope they realize that they shouldn't try and scrap, because I think that their cleaner games are the ones that they just try and play methodically correct. Because if they play scrap, they just give chance to the other team, and I think that, and 100% I think this, DAMWON is better than the RNG. DAMWON is better than Genji. If you try to scrap with them, there's an even higher chance that you give away the game to them. Yeah. So I think that they should try and play much more methodically and controlled.
The thing is, with EDG scrapping, EDG never scraps as their first option. EDG only scraps as their last option.
Yeah, I hope that they never.
No, they've done this. They've done this for the entire year. They've always scrapped as the last resort because they felt that was the only thing they can do to come back in the game. That's what they've always done.
Yeah, for me at least, what I'm just trying to lay down there is that I hope that they don't resort to that one, even if it's the last one, because I think that they have a better chance without that. That's at least for me. I think that they just play really well when they try and play intelligently. That if they try to scrap, I just feel like it's trying, even though it's a last resort, it can throw away a couple of things that they don't need to. So I hope that they just try and don't stick to that if possible.
I get what you mean. I get what you mean, TDS, but it feels like you're preaching to a stone wall here when it comes to you're telling an LPL team not to scrap. It's just like it is like, in their nature.
They have 2 Koreans, so maybe they have 2 Koreans, so maybe it works. Maybe that works. Maybe they stop it.
I
But
mean,
those
the
are
thing
one
is,
of the two of the most aggressive Koreans.
yeah, it's the thing. The thing
Uh,
is, these guys are possessed by the Chinese spirit, man. These guys are just. Hey,
No,
He's been playing there
I
since
will bet
5
you this.
years.
I will bet you this. The bot lane will be scrappy. Viper and
Yeah.
Mako will want to scrap.
I don't want
That's
to
what they
scrap,
do.
Yeah,
definitely.
that's that's the thing. The funniest thing is that that's one of the most aggressive Koreans that has come out of Korea. Like Viper, even in LCK, he fights to death.
No,
When he was in Griffin, he fights to death. It's so
but
funny.
but I honestly think there's some keys to to this series that I want to really watch. Like, for example, what do they do when DK completely throws everyone to top lane, which they always do?
He
Like,
lose to you, yeah.
yeah, what does EDG answer?
Well, obviously,
Does
Flandre
EDG?
just won V4s, right? Check though.
But yeah, but the thing is, Flandre has been so good at holding his own. That's the thing. Like, can they like? Of course, if they dive him properly, he'll die. Like, there's no player in the world that can stop the dive, unless of course you're diving a cannon. Yeah,
uh,
DK. Revisionist history.
are, are they? Wait, let me check. Let me check what picks Flandre has been using. He's been using Jace,
Well,
Graves.
we're
Flandre
basing on the
has
fact
played-
that Flandre can pull out cannon.
Yeah, he can.
Flandre can.
Yeah,
Flandre has
that's
played
it.
like
We're-
Flandre has played like 6 or 7 champions once, and then everything else is Graves.
Okay, here are the stats for the
we're
World
playing
Championship.
on the
Here
fact
the-
that cannon can be pulled out as well. So that's a
here's,
potential.
Here's the stats, guys. So Graves was played by Flandre 9 times. Okay.
Yeah. Of course.
Jace 4
That's true.
times. Jax once, Gwen once, and Kennen once.
I
So-
hope they don't play Jace. I really hope they don't play.
It's a
Jace.
50-50. Kennen, Jace won 2 games, lost 2 games for Flandre.
The other thing that works in their favor, and I believe he's the only jungler I've seen who's pulled it off the best. It's GJ has played Jarvan the best so far.
That's
This round
true.
he played Jarvan.
That's
I
true.
think after Way.
Yeah, but we had a
Wait.
small sample size. We had a small sample
Yeah,
size.
but I think the better Jarvan has been JJ. It is true that one of the things that affected the series a lot in the Genji EDG is the Lee Sin Jarvan matchup. Which, if you are a proficient Lee Sin, you can play that effectively.
Yeah.
But which Canyon can, we have seen it. So
Yeah.
it's not like there's no answer to that, but I do think that GH's Jarvan is something to be careful about. I think that it's going to end up getting banned, at least in one of the games.
Yeah, talking about picks between these two teams. Do you guys expect anything different? I expect a lot of priority on Lee Sin, expect a lot of priority on Graves. What else do you guys think?
Those scout plays solely.
I
I'm not
honestly
sure about
think
that.
I honestly think we may see Scout picking more champions.
How many champions has Scout
Because
played?
because,
Yeah.
because Scout has played like eight or 9 champions with one pick.
Let me check. World
He has
champions.
played various champions.
I'm not sure exactly, but I
Oh
was
my
checking it.
gosh, you're right.
He has played various champions. Like
No,
I really, just
He has
just
played,
against T1
he
once
played
he played
Malzahar
Sylas.
once. I believe he played
Malzahar.
Malzahar once, Silas
Yes.
once, Lissandra maybe.
Bruh, this guy has champion Ocean. The only champion he's repeated is Rise.
Yes,
Which he played against Genji twice, I think.
yes.
Did he win both times? Wait.
Yeah. No, he lost once. He won
Yes.
one and lost one.
Okay.
With the Rise.
Because everything else, he's only played once. LeBlanc, Silas, Twisted Fate, Lissandra, Syndra, Malzahar, Azir, Oriana,
Played
Victor,
Sylas
Zoe.
once in the whole tournament.
No, all
at
of
the
them
start
once.
of the tournament.
No, only Rise
No,
has been
but
played multiple times. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
no, but I mean, he played just Silas. He played at the start of the tournament, and it's never like I think that after that it was just one more game of Silas, and we haven't seen any more Silas at the tournament at all.
There's only one time he played Silas.
But the thing is the fact that he has played Rise X amount of times and then everything else won goes to show, yeah, he ain't scared.
Yeah.
Like,
he
I
can
wonder
go
what
for-
else he's
he
willing
was
to
willing
pull
to go
out.
for
Like,
that.
what else is this guy willing to pull out? Is the big question, right?
The thing is, I think it's really matchup dependent because I believe even though they lost the game where he picked Malzahar,
Yeah.
there was a solid reasoning behind it.
Yeah, I think that they didn't lose that game because of the Malzahar pick. So I would hope that they try and look out for that, because I think Malzahar can be a valuable pick, especially to shut down someone like Showmaker. Malzahar can do so much here.
Yeah, I mean, let's be fair. Given the fact that we're talking about a team which has picked Sejuani top lane once, and they were the first teams to like consistently pick Nocturne in the Nocturne in the top lane or mid lane. Like
Yeah.
this team is not afraid to pull out picks. The question is, how much of DAMWON do they attack? Because I firmly believe, if you don't ban the Jhin, then like they are missing out on a priority. Because I feel like without Jhin, Ghost is not very good.
I mean,
It's
we saw in the
I
last
think at-
series, right?
I think at this point
Firmly
he's
disagree.
Jhin dependent.
I firmly disagree with that. I think that Ghost is not getting the credit that he deserves these roles. I think that he has been performing really well. Like, yes, he was.
I was
he
about
wasn't the
listen
super
TDS.
shining light.
Listen
but-
TDS. Before you go on that tangent, I was about to concede your point there, but what Ghost did in game 2 of that series legitimately upset me.
But he may like this
The thing
also
is, you have to realize-
also goes for my point. Like this also goes for my starting point. I think that what happened on that series, it's going to be isolated from Gen G, because I don't think they are going to be as scared or as wary from anything that Gen G throws out as they were with T1.
You mean EDG? Why you keep
Yeah,
saying Gen G?
I said EDG.
You said Gen G.
I said Gen G. Sorry, EDG. I don't know why I'm stuck.
Go back to
I
your
hate them
Korean
so
home.
much.
Go back to your
I
Korean
Korean-
home.
I hate them so
The,
much.
the
That's
Korean
why.
Hopium dealer, ladies and gentlemen.
No. I have hope for other Korean teams. I hate Gen G. I don't.
Alright,
Alright.
The thing is, I've seen enough of Ghost for the entire tournament that he's looked so good on Jhin. He doesn't look that much good in other picks.
Misfortune is
Especially-
fine, I'd say.
Especially considering the fact that MF is always just taken away. The fact that his two most successful champions, MF and Jhin,
Or meta.
are likely to be taken away, I like that will be rough. We're considering Viper can play anything. It's Viper.
Yeah. The thing
As
is,
long as
though,
he doesn't miss position, obviously. As long as he doesn't miss position.
that's the caveat of every ADC. They can play well as long as they don't miss position.
Yes.
The thing. There's also the there's also the Ziggs that Ghost can pull out. I think the Ziggs has been super effective for him as well.
Yes.
But
Yeah, I think it's really matchup reliant.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's not
if
going
Viper leans towards the Aphelios immediately, they're picking up Ziggs, 100%.
But I don't know
can
if he's
see it,
picking
but
the
not
Aphelios. I don't think he's picking the
Yeah.
Aphelios blind. I don't think
I think if it's Misfortune or Aphelios, I think 6 is coming. If it's Misfortune Aphelios, I think 6 is probably going to be the answer. If Jhin is not up, I do agree with that. I think that Jhin is probably the highest priority pick for Ghost right now, like 100%. I don't think there's any, even with Misfortune, I think that Jhin is over that.
Mhm.
So I'm expecting that to be the focus for DAMWON in terms of bot lane. Then looking much more determined into certain matchups, I think that 6 comes through if it's Misfortune or Aphelios on the other side, just because they are the easier targets to hit with your poke.
Yeah.
And I think that it's going to come also with a potential Jace from Can or with a Zoe from Showmaker. It's what I think will come if the 6 does come out as well.
Yeah. The thing is, like what I'm really curious about is whether Flandre or Scout are willing to counterpick their matchups, like straight up, without no meta follow. They just completely say, hey, we're gonna counterpick you. We don't care.
The thing is, the EDG is much more. The EDG plays much more towards blue side, right? Like they rather take blue side much.
They're
more.
not gonna go counterpick for Flandre. It's never gonna happen.
It can happen. It does. It has happened. So it's not like it's impossible.
It has happened.
But for me, it's how much do they play blue side? It's my main thing, because I think that DAMWON is much more willing to take red side. They are much more willing to take that side because they are willing to go for the counter picks much more consistently.
Mhm.
So I think that is also going to play a factor in.
Yeah.
And if EDG does go for red side, do they value much more the counter pick for Flandre or for Scout? And that's where your point comes.
The thing is, you're not going to ever get if I'm going to be DAMWON on red side, I'm going to save my counter pick for Showmaker.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
because that's pretty much where that's happening. So Scout is always has to play blind, and I think he'll just go blind rise
Yeah, he
all
will.
the time.
He will probably.
Although Damwon does ban, is one of the teams that ban Rise a lot. Damwon has banned a lot of
He
Rise
falls
this
back
season.
to.
Then he
Scout
might
may
go
fall
for
back
the
to.
LeBlanc.
Yeah,
Yeah.
either LeBlanc or
LeBlanc,
Azir.
I think LeBlanc it's probably the option that I can see if Rise is banned. I think Twisted Fate as well if it's something that is Scout.
Oh,
can
yeah,
go
Scout
for.
Twisted
doesn't play a
Fate.
lot. Scout doesn't play a lot of it because, based on how the tournament has evolved, Scout has played more for his lane.
Rise?
More
Okay.
for his lane.
Yeah, because I
mean-
think that Showmaker, we haven't seen it that much, but Showmaker can play Rise to a high degree. So I think that may also be a pick that we can see if Rise is taken away. It also may pump out now the Sylas to try and match up, which we haven't seen previously.
Yeah.
But I also think that if there's a chance that they are going to pick Twisted Fate, Sylas is also getting banned from that one.
Yeah, but,
So
but
I think there's going to be a lot of focus on
yeah.
me.
But I'm absolutely sure that if Showmaker does pick LeBlanc, Scout might go for Lissandra or Malzahar.
Or Malzahar, yeah.
No, he will. He will.
Yeah. He'll just say, yeah, I'll pick this. Like it's been successful, and I believe that Scout understands what he has to do, right? So that's what I think of is that with DAMWON we know they're clearly going to play through mid and top, right?
Yeah.
But EDG they can play through anywhere, literally.
I mean, yeah,
do-
they can.
I do want to say one thing just to put it out. There is a chance, and it's enough chance, that we see them playing towards bot side because it has happened before.
Yes.
It has happened in not this year, in much more in 2020
Mhm.
Worlds. They played a little bit towards bot side as well, and they were able to utilize Ghost and Burial effectively when they were able to open them up, and that's something that we may see. So, but I don't expect it at all.
I
I
mean,
do agree with the here. I think that it's top side focus.
I will put the caveat to that, TDS. I think they played towards bot side when Ghost was put on Caitlyn. Because you have to. If you put your ADC on Caitlyn, you have to play towards bot. There's no other.
Yes.
There's no
But
other
it was
way.
also when he was playing Jhin and Senna. So it's not like they have played towards bot side on 2020 Worlds much more much more recently. It was 2020 Worlds than this year, so that's why I'm just leaving it as the potential there. But I do agree with Slayer. I think that it's much more likely, and I think that it's pretty much the norm right now for DAMWON. It's playing heavily towards top side to enable Ken and Showmaker as much as possible.
Yeah, the thing is, that's why I'm curious, because whether if Flandre is having a good series, whether EDG just decides, yeah, we're gonna play through top side, and all of a sudden everyone's like, what? EDG never plays to top side, and if they start doing that, like
they
that's
tried,
already
I think they
uncharted
tried
territory.
once. I remember I think they have tried it once or twice this Worlds, and I think one of the ones that I saw when it was Jace, they failed really badly. So that's why I don't want to see Jace, but I think that if they are now much more on form, obviously, then they can try to play around that. One thing that I do want to bring up, and it may come in as a factor or not, it's the difference for rosters, because this is for the 5 players. This is their first Worlds finals.
Yes.
So there's a potential for nerfs, for uncharacteristic plays to come through from the side of EDG. From DAMWON, it's just Can. The other 4 players are champions, are world champions. So I think that may also come in as a factor. I don't know for how much, but a factor.
Yeah, but one thing that they have said.
TDS, your camera is
Yeah. One thing that Ghost has actually said, and he's said this multiple times, that this team is a lot more emotional this year than last year, because they feel like they're not going to be together after this year. That's what Ghost said.
Well, they feel no, they're not going to be together after this game.
No, I mean, it's basically, it's like nerves. While I believe that DAMWON will be more equipped to handle it, I don't think it's impractical to think that DAMWON won't feel any nerves if EDG just put the pressure on them.
Yeah, I do agree here. I think that even if you get experience this whole way, it's still a final, so it's still impactful
still gonna
for
be that
almost any
pressure,
player. Yeah. So that like for me, I don't want to put I just put it out as potential. I think that even for ADG it may not come in play. I just kind of curious how much it's going to appear, but I do think that for both of these teams at least, because there's a lot of players that still have been playing for a long time on EDG. Like apart from I think JJ and Viper, which are the players that have played that have lesser careers, the other three have been playing for a really long time.
They have, yeah.
So they still will have a lot of experience, even if they haven't reached this point.
Yes.
Ever.
Yeah, true. Flandre, first worlds, so to speak.
And he's doing a damn good job at it.
Yeah, this is his first worlds. Surprisingly, for anyone not familiar with LPL, Flandre is a name that has been very, very close to making it to Worlds numerous times in his career. Now he's finally made it. Snake Esports. Last time,
On top of that,
yeah, there's some. Yeah.
He was one of the players that got touted with the best player that never reached Worlds, right?
Yeah, one of
after
the top laners.
After Scored, I think that he was the only one.
Yeah. Last year his teammate from Snake, SOFM, was in the finals. So something about that Snake Esports roster.
yes.
There was something that just couldn't quite gel that Snake Esports roster. But now the fact that they're finding more success in different teams is really good to see. Now narrative wise, looking at this matchup, we have the two successors to Faker, right? It's Scout versus Showmaker.
Yes.
To those who don't know, Scout was a trainee for SKT back in the day.
Yeah.
He trained under Faker. So, and we all know the narrative around Showmaker. Showmaker became a pro after seeing Faker in 2017 World. So, these are the two like successors of the best League of Legends player in the world, going head to head.
Obviously, Scout a little bit earlier. He was the next Faker like 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean he was still technically the successor before he went to LPL. Like
he's still the next Faker even after everything that has happened.
I mean, he made it to the finals eventually. I'm just sad that we weren't able to see that matchup. We weren't able to see that matchup more in the best of 5 between Scout and Faker, honestly. But
I would have liked the semifinals to have been EDG T1 instead of EDG LFT1 DAMWON, because I think that would have been great tests for the EDG. Like I think T1 EDG would have been the greatest test for EDG.
Yeah, it would have, honestly. That would instead, EDG they get to do the final exam without a practice test.
because I also think that T1 suffered from the same thing as DAMWON, where they but they were much more wary about DAMWON because they were Korean, and if it was against RNG or EDG, they wouldn't have played some of the things the way that they did.
Here's the thing though, wouldn't you be wary of the teams that you scrim against all the time?
Yes.
Yep.
Which is why
that's also why I think that Owner was able to win some games against Canyon, because they know each other a lot.
Yeah.
So there's some things that you get out of that. That's also one of the things that I'm interested in the finals between Canyon and JJ. The fact that whoever gets the upper hand in the jungle matchup may not get the opponent may not get enough time to get accustomed to the other jungler, right? Because it's just one series, so it's not like you have a scrim consistently against them or know them super well.
Maybe
so I think that may affect.
Maybe they did scrim against each other during the.
Yeah, but I mean not to the degree that the LCK scrims with each other, right? So I'm saying, like, even though they know, like, there's not that consistent matchup that LCK against LCK know, because they come from the same region. So I think jungle-wise, it can impact, because jungle, if you get the upper hand in jungle, most of the times, you can just run over with the series.
That's true. I think I would favor, though, like JJ and Canyon, as you said, they kind of play the same style. But the thing is, if one player is better than the other at the style, they usually end up dominating. So, as you said, opening matchup gonna be important. Whether JJ can handle the pressure as well, since this is his first final on the international stage.
20. He's just 20, man. He's just 20.
Yeah, he's a young player, very young player. So
Owner was 18. No, I'm just
It's to get this-
laughing. Yeah, it's okay. I'm just laughing at that. But
outta
I think that
listen,
JJ
next year T1, you can be the herald for T1 being the world champions for next year. All
I
right.
hope so. I hope Ken gets his last dance. I hope that Faker gets his. But I do want to say with JJ that I think that in the last in these two last words, he is probably going to be the best matchup against Canyon that we have gotten in terms of jungle.
It might be. Yeah, it might be.
It's going to be fun. It's
Yeah.
going to be fun watching that.
Yeah, definitely. Now, when it comes to support, as you said, Mako, not the best at enchanters, so to speak. It's not really his style. You think?
I think Mako at engage supports is just a whole different person.
That's true. It
Yeah,
definitely
there is a
kind of
huge-
feels that.
It's
it definitely
better
kind of feels
twin.
that way.
I remember watching the Carter finals, thinking, please don't ever let him play enchanters again, because it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's night and day, legitimately. Even when they won as the Lucian Nami, like there were some times where Viper went in and Mako wasn't ready to follow up as the enchanter. So I just feel like he's not. He just doesn't have that.
It's a different
That-
mindset you need, right?
You have that mindset for playing the enchanter. You can be an aggressive enchanter, but it's still a different way of playing than that of engager. So I just think that I do agree. I hope that he's not stuck in any kind of enchanter matchup, because I think that even with enchanter matchups, like they may lose against Ghost Burial. They are I really think Ghost Burial is the ultimate neutralizer in that regard.
Yeah.
They are really good at that.
No, yeah, I agree. Bros and Barrel have neutralized many bot lanes in the past, which is why, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see whether EDG can win out on the 2v2. So, you guys have any
I
final
am betting
thoughts?
on no kills.
You guys have any final
Uh,
thoughts on this matchup? Any parting
Not
words to
really.
say?
Not really.
Because there are some other topics I want to bring up.
For me, I'll just leave it at. I hope it's a good finals. Although,
Yes.
based on track record, it's either a 3-0 or a 3-1. In all history, we have gotten one 3-2 finals,
Even then, it
So-
wasn't
Second
like,
one.
you know,
Maybe
completely.
and it
Second one.
wasn't. And I think it should have been a 3-0.
Yeah, even.
So-
Maybe the second one.
Yeah, maybe it's the second one. Like I do want to get a great final. I do hope that DK wins, because obviously I'm a Nils K fan, and I think they can win. But I don't want to discredit EDG. I think that finally, for the first time, and I'm glad it's EDG, they have a shot, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
EDG is an org that almost always kind of makes you sad because of what has happened to them. It's the what ifs, and now it's finally the maybe.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it. I like that. I like that, TDS. You're really practicing your narratives for the entire academy. I can tell.
Like I think I this week I was kind of a host, so I'm gotten better. I'm
Okay.
juggling it well. So
All right.
it's okay.
All right.
It's
all right,
going well.
that's fair. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, I saw you in excellency. Good job. Good job.
It's been fun. It's been fun doing those kinds of things.
Yeah. Anyway, so no more final thoughts on the matchup. So your prediction.
I think
You know what?
3-1 DAMWON.
You know what? I'm gonna go for it. 3-2 EDG.
Oh.
I'm gonna go for it.
See, when you say it,
I
it's
have
great.
this.
right?
I have this feeling. Like I can't shake it off, but I have this feeling every time I think of this series. Someone should win, but
I felt the
but
same.
why do I feel like EDG has a shot? Like every time Damwon should win, but why is it every time in my head I'm thinking EDG will win? Why is it?
You're getting what I felt last week,
The-
Slayer, right?
the
You're
Slayer
finally
hit by the
understanding
Hopium.
what I felt with T1.
The Slayer hit by the
like-
Hopium.
I
I mean, yours is different because you've been supporting T1 for so long. I
Yeah,
have
but
never supported EDG.
but I do understand the feeling. It's like
this-
even
but
though I
this
can
is-
see, like, even though I see Damwon winning, like there's something off about this final that just tells you that that EDG can do it.
No, I mean, my gut is telling me, like, I don't know why my gut is telling me EDG might win. My
Yeah.
gut is
telling
telling
me no,
me.
but my body's telling me yes.
I mean, my mind's literally telling me, yeah, Damwon 3-1. Yeah, let's finish it. Yeah, Khan gets his last hurrah. Everything's done. Everything. everything ends like that.
Yeah, it's a
But
book.
then there's this
Tied
thing
in the bun.
in my body. There's like no, he's gonna win. No, he's gonna win. I'm like,
See, I can
what
get
the hell?
I can get behind that. That's fine. I can get behind that. That's still a nice mentality. Like, even though you analyze, there's a and I use this for sports as well. You can analyze everything you want, but in football, like you don't know
It's
what
a
happens
gut-
until
it's
you
a
actually
gut,
play.
Like it's a gut feeling when you
Yeah.
when you see like even like pulling out a football analogy. When you watch Real Madrid and Barcelona play at their peak, you want this. You know this team is gonna win probably because they have the better roster, but you have
But-
this feeling like this
Yeah.
Something else can happen. You
Yeah,
have this
exactly. I can
strange
100%
feeling.
understand that.
That's what I'm having. That's what I have right now. I don't know why.
And it doesn't matter how much analysis
It's
you can
unexplain-
make. Like,
it's
until you
unexplain-
actually play,
Yeah.
you don't know. So
Yeah, it's unexplainable. Seriously.
Yeah, that's the thing with analysis, right? You have to risk yourself being wrong in
Yes.
order to in order to be legit.
I will listen. I voted for EDG to win the summer LPL summer. I'm gonna go with them for winning Worlds. Let's go.
All right,
Let's
fair enough.
go.
EDG,
I'm on.
TDS,
Yeah, I'm on that one.
you're in that one. 3-1 train.
Because-
Okay.
I'm on the 3. I think you know what.
Not the 3-0?
3-0 actually. Yeah. I'm
Okay,
going to go for
okay.
the
There we
3-0
go.
actually.
I like the bravery better. There we go.
I want LCK to win. I like Showmaker. He's a worthy
I hope it's
successor
not a
of
3-0. I
Faker.
would be so disappointed.
I think. I hope no, but track record wise, I think it's going to be a 3-0.
If it's a 3-0, I hope the games are close. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Now my
it always
prediction.
happens like that though, so it's okay.
My prediction, I think. Fuck, it's so hard. Honestly, it's a lot harder than a lot of people make it seem to be. People
Yeah.
keep saying that okay, T1 versus DK, that was the finals, but EDG versus DK might end up being like the best series we have had so far in Worlds
Yeah.
in the
Like,
finals.
The finals.
So and in the finals, like so.
It's like the finals.
It could
We actually
legitimately
get the
be
finals.
a good finals for Worlds, which is kind of unheard of. Like this never happens. It's usually a stomp. So I would say I will go with the 3-1 prediction for DAMWON.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know as someone who followed the LPL and as mod for the LPL Discord, I would definitely want EDG to win. But I'm gonna go with my head. Sarah's going with his gut, so I'm going with my head. All right, there has to be someone who uses that type of reasoning here. So there we go.
Okay.
All right,
We can get behind that.
all right. The other topic I wanted to bring up, of course, was news about Riot's handling of media in Worlds. Did you guys see the? Did you guys see the tweet?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Now,
I saw-
Slayer,
I saw
both
those
of us
like
are
a couple of
journalists to an extent. I think you're more experienced at it than I am. Of course, I just started recently. So, what do you guys think?
I don't know what to say. I honestly don't. It's like when the tweet came out, and obviously I saw the report from basically Jacobull shared it. I saw it from him first, and then I saw Ashley's one, and basically like I have no contact with them whatsoever, like not so ever, but I am in the same industry as them currently,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like that was really uncalled for.
Which
It
one?
was really like what Riot how Riot handled it. That was really uncalled for.
Yeah, I agree.
Like it's like it's one thing to say okay, no third parties allowed, and then you allow third party people, but then you don't allow casters there. I mean, I don't understand this mechanics
That's
that
super
where
random to
they
me.
did where they decided that okay, these people are allowed but the rest of the people aren't.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? Like they allowed. I'm not trying to diss on the Chinese people, but they did allow Chinese third-party content creators and media outlets to. I don't even know if it's Tennyson. Maybe it's Tennyson. Maybe it's Tennyson. I'm not sure, of course, but it's still kind of a scumbag move by Riot to do that, especially considering that means there's no like representation from LCK, from LEC, from LCS, which is definitely needed, and we've had Like it's been a content drought for this Worlds. It feels like
Yes.
Yep.
with the casters not
Even-
there to be able to interact and stuff like that.
Like
I mean,
even the hype videos that they did and all those things, like
was there even
they
hype
were
video
kind of
finals?
late. They were always late, so even then it was kind of strange. Like
Was
I
there-
think there is, but I'm not sure.
Is there a hype?
I'm going to look.
There was
for it.
5 hours ago. Yeah, it's the one between
Exactly.
Dam.
So I'm sorry, but how can you make that 5 hours ago? Or no, there was one 2 days ago. It seems like get ready for DAMWON EG. So there's that. But like the finals should be. There's so much that you can do around finals. You can even just steal from the LCK and do a trash talk or anything like that. But make it so that it actually feels like it's a grand finals, not actually the day before. Make it seem like with Champions League, you see 100, 1,000 commercials before the day of the league. Every program talking about it. Every in Twitter, there's conversations about it. You see so much coverage of those things, and this year's Riot seems to just not care. They care about Arcane, it seems, not the
Yeah,
Worlds.
yeah, that's one thing I want to bring up too. The marketing for Arcane has been much like bigger compared to the actual World Championship, you know,
Yeah.
which is, I mean, I guess that's where where Riot sees where the revenue is going to be. They're gonna be
They did say
introducing
that.
a lot more new league players through Arcane instead of like through LoL esports. So that's what they want to concentrate, focus on, and that's fine. That's fine considering if that's what they want to do. All right, go ahead. But you know, I think the criticism definitely is warranted for this case, especially regarding if you have third party media on site, that's basically just free advertisement. It's
Yeah,
not like
it's
Riot
very
is
much that.
it's not like Riot is the one accommodating these guys in the hotels. Usually it's just the media that pays for that themselves. They just want to be
Yes.
able to get access to the players
I mean,
and be able to talk to them
I
and
mean,
stuff like that.
Jacob Wolf basically said that they prepared an on-site team in Iceland to join there. They prepared everything, and then Riot told them they couldn't attend. And
Which is-
then all of a sudden they
It's-
learn about this.
And the weird thing is, right, in Valorant, as a
They're not
journalist for
allowing
Valorant, it's allowed. What the like in Berlin, my editor was literally there. My editor was on site doing live interviews, providing live coverage for our website.
This like this legitimately feels like when you're in a family, right? So you're the older brother, and there's the little brother, and the little brother gets everything because he's the little
That's
brother.
one of the most appropriate. That's one of the most appropriate analogies
that's
I've ever
legitimately
heard.
the most stupid way for Riot to work with this. Because Valorant is getting everything. They get double elimination on their most important tournament first year. Not even down the line. First year, they get the media coverage. Everyone gets getting the authority to be able to do that and the power to go into the events and interview the players like it should be, honestly. And they are also doing a lot of good things with Valorant in terms of just mediating with the players and the like these kind of things are good for it's good that it's happening for Valorant, but the thing that I don't understand is why it's not happening for League as well. Like, I'm okay with Valorant getting good things, but you also have another son, a much older son, a son that has given you everything, and you still don't respect him.
I mean, the thing I think at this point my theory is that the esports guys for Valorant and League are completely different.
Are better.
Yes, they are. And I feel like this somewhat falls onto the fact that just before World started, like League Esports had a change in leadership. I feel like
Yeah, it recently happened.
I feel like there's some impact there, or something happened where there was some mismanagement, and like I can't comment on it, but I feel like there was some impact there. Regardless, it was still inexcusable.
Yeah, whether it's malicious or actually just incompetency is just kind of it's not supposed to happen at this, especially at this level.
Like I honestly think, like going forward, like Riot has to come out and make some changes that will help drive this esports further. If they do not, they may end up start losing like a good chunk of their fan base.
I mean, obviously, complacency will breed, The lack of interest,
It's not.
especially.
No, it's not just the viewership. It's basically they will lose the coverage, which is actually going to be worse.
That's true.
It's free. They legitimately are losing free propaganda, which
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't know how much it comes to this or not, but I always go by one saying that I heard from one journalist. Like it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Propaganda is propaganda, or propaganda no, but
Advertising,
like
you mean?
Advertising
You mean
is advertising.
advertising.
Yeah, propaganda is bad. Advertisement is advertisement. So you need to still be able to get good at, like, if you get no advertisement at all, that's the worst, because nobody knows about you. And that's the thing that Riot should try and, like, obviously I think that they are getting a still bad advertisement, which in the long run is still getting advertisement, but they need to finally step up and try to get good advertisement, because that also helps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, well, Riot's been have been giving journalists a hard time this year, I think. First it started with the, well, I'm not sure where it first started, but I think the first notable event for me was when they stopped, when they said about the photos that they were taking, that they were going to limit the amount of people that would have access to them, and I was like, oh, and that's really hard. It's really hard. As someone who writes articles for Valorant, it's really hard to be able to make interesting articles without pictures, because no one's going to pay attention to a wall of text, okay? It's just not going to happen.
I remember that as a rule of thumb. Like the pictures make people want to read this, because the flashiness, the colorfulness actually helps with that.
Yeah, which kind of has hampered me as well, because I can't add much pictures because I can't find them. There's rules and guidelines to follow.
Yeah.
Search
I'm just saying.
Valorant.
I'm just saying.
I can tell you right now, TDS. I can go to Google, search Pro Valorant, and the Flickr is right there. All the pictures I need is right there.
Yes.
The only problem with that, the only reason I don't have too much is because there haven't been too many lands. The only ones I can get are from Berlin and from Iceland, basically.
Yeah.
And from Korea.
Since I'm not a journalist, actually, like, it doesn't impact me that much, because I obviously don't understand how the journalism part of things is, but it is kind of dumb that they're just neglecting their.
Like, for me at least, when I basically have access, but the thing is, every time I go there, I can find all the LEC stuff, but not anything else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, there's a lot of limitations right now, and I feel like that's actually harming them more than helping them.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah,
like,
it's like
they should try and make things easier for us, so that they can get good. Like, I don't even think that it should be just everything free or anything like that, but make things easier for the guys that actually care about the ecosystem, because those are the guys that will, without any inevitability, go with you if something goes wrong, because you have helped in the past.
Yeah, don't fight your content creators, don't fight your journalists. Do not be Blizzard.
Yeah.
That's all we're asking. Do not end up being Blizzard, because once you start fighting the people who support your game, especially the most fervent supporters, it's just obviously where do you expect to end up? And this I'm talking about League. Like, Valorant has been really good. Of course, it's still in its infancy. It's still just been 2 years. If these are designs for League, that's gonna happen, then I'm worried for Valorant later down the line, of course, because if it happens to one game, it probably will end up happening to the other, just by, I don't know, sheer osmosis or something like that. But it is something. It is a cause to concern.
This kind of developments and things like that just makes me feel like what Valve's doing, like, lack of interaction is the best choice, because they simply, since they just exist but they don't actually have a lot of input on a lot of things, or don't actually put out themselves in a lot of things, like, it just feels like they are doing a good job, even if they are doing bad things.
I don't know, TDS. There are pros and cons to the Valve approach, because there's been a lot of drama in CS over the year.
Yeah,
over the past year.
Is that in comparison, Riot's meddling with everything seems to be also bad.
So, we have two extremes.
Lack of interaction seems to be the better of the two bads, because the better of the two evils, because at least there it doesn't seem that apparent in that regard, because Riot keeps meddling, it's much more apparent the evil, the evil
that they're evil. Okay,
the evil in quotations. Like
You're gonna put us out of a job first, TDS, because Ryan won't help
I'm
us
just in
anymore.
quotations. I'm doing the quotation mark thing.
Evil.
We're not. Ah. It's hard to say, right? It's not like we have the, the sway to be able to, or the clout to be able to, oh, right, heard they're right, bad.
We can't.
It's not like we can. We're small creators. We're still kind of dependent on Riot to be able to make content like this. So
I liked Riot's evil. I'll just leave it at that.
everyone's evil, just depending on which evil you like. Is that basically
Exactly. Exactly.
It's a very cynical view. I like it. It seems on brand for you. It seems very on brand for you. I just gotta say.
See, you gotta always stay in line with whatever you're saying, right? So,
all right. Yeah. Anyway, all right. I think that was the last point I wanted to make. Do you guys want to talk about roster moves that have been made so far in the off season? We were discussing this. We were discussing this in the
I think we
before
should
the
rather
show.
save it. I think we should rather save it for the next time because I feel like there's a lot of unknowns.
Yeah, I would like to get something more concrete on a couple of parts.
Okay, that's fair. I think
Like,
EU and NA has just been the most.
The truth is there's too many verbal agreements right.
Yeah, we have to wait until the actual contracts
They're
come out.
verbal agreements.
Apart from the fact that I also think that we're going to see something interesting from the LCK, so
And LPL.
so I want to wait for that as well.
LPL is getting a bit spicy too.
Yeah. From what I've heard, LPL is getting super spicy, especially since for those who don't know, LWX has stated that FPX has let go of everyone in the roster.
Yep. and Nagari wants to apparently come back to the LCK, so there's a potential he might be coming back to DK.
No,
The thing is, it may not be the same DK. So.
It's either DK or T1 as far as
that's the rumor.
What I mean is that there's the potential that DK will not be DK. So I'm also waiting on that.
Yeah.
Like you think the org will pull out of LCK and will just
No. There's two the Canyon and Showmaker's contract is up.
Oh right,
so the potential for them going away, which I think Showmaker will stay, but Canyon is my main worry.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
he's gonna command the big bucks.
I hope not, please no. And there's also talks about Chovy leaving as well. So if that happens, I'm destroyed.
I think Chovy leaving is understandable.
That's a
Canyon.
Yeah.
I think LPL, if Toynbee and Rookie don't retire, which it's possible. Rookie's retiring.
There's rumors that Rookie's not retiring.
You're sure
if Rookie doesn't retire, I think Canyon may go to LPL because I think that he may be enticed to play with either Rookie or Toynbee.
No, because
that's some good enticement right there. I'm telling you.
That's
the thing. There's willingness.
Based on the reporting that's coming out, that Rookie and the Shy apparently wants to go for.
For what?
1 more year.
They want to go for 1 more year.
Okay, yeah. So that's the thing.
Because they both stated that if one retires, the other will retire as well. They're basically lockstep.
They're brothers for life. Is basically what's
also,
happening.
I'm kind of interested in one thing. Because I don't know much about the LPL. What is the chance to get a 5-man Korean team in the LPL right now?
Very low. I think Doinby is the only one that has presidency.
No shot.
Rookie doesn't have presidency.
Or
the Shy?
The Shy does not.
The Shy does not. Rookie does.
That's the thing. If I was thinking if the Shy and Rookie does have, what is the chance? Like there can be a chance where 2 Koreans join the team as well.
I mean, there's no other Korean.
But I don't think they're gonna do it.
I was thinking if there was a chance.
I think the only change that IG might do is probably ADC. They probably will do is ADC.
I think
that's the only thing they'll do.
I think the only
because the 2 rookies on jungle and support actually showed that they're pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, they were playing hot potato with whoever was playing in bot lane, honestly, and I can't completely blame Shun for what happened in IG because damn, if you're a rookie and you end up in that situation, I'm just like, I would just be.
No, I think for Rookie and the Shy, if they do come back, it's a lot depending on everyone's counting them out, and they have this, like they're like, yeah, we're not.
It's not over yet,
Don't forget about us.
baby. It's not
Don't
over
forget
yet.
about us. But there's, I think there's a bigger for me there's a bigger rumor actually, is that Kanavi is going to come back to the LCK.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
that
I
too.
heard about that. So that's also the chance that
Which
Chovy
means
doesn't go.
potentially, no, which means potentially Zoom might actually team. Like Zoom might just say, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
That for the LPO I think is huge. Like
Zoom
like
leaving
Zoom
JDG
being
would be.
open.
Yeah. Oh.
The thing is, I think there's a couple of teams that with Zoom can become so good.
Guys, imagine RNG gets Zoom and Zhao goes back to mid lane. Holy shit.
Oh man.
That would be interesting.
My only
I
caveat
cannot
with
see.
RNG picking up any player is like, oh man, will they end up in contract hell again if things don't work out? It's gonna be so upsetting
yeah.
if that happens.
But another thing that's very interesting.
Wait, Uzi's coming back as well, right?
No, Uzi is effectively out of that contract hell, so he basically come back if he wants to.
I have
question
no
is we
idea.
don't know.
I have no idea.
There
It's
was,
always
there
a
was the
rumor.
original rumors that
No,
he wanted to go to IG, no?
Imagine if he goes to IG.
It's always a rumor that he's gonna go. That he's gonna come
the
back.
original rumor,
the next
the rumors that I remembered.
Now imagine
Where
if he goes
he
to
was
IG.
also
Like
cheap.
seriously.
I mean, that team will either fall apart completely or stop everyone. There's gonna be no in between for that team.
Also, I this isn't much of a transfer rumor or not, and this is maybe just exciting for me. But I know, or I've heard of one of the rookies in the LCK, one of the rookie mid laners in, I think it was DRX, or no, actually Fly, Africa. I mean, yeah, Fly.
Yeah.
Africa. That they have one rookie, a rookie mid laner that is supposedly super good, like to a Chovy showmaker level. So that is also exciting.
Africa.
Listen, we'll have to see. We'll have
In
to see.
Africa,
It's
yeah.
rookies.
That-
Listen, it's rookies. We have to. we
Yeah,
have to see
but
it.
that's the thing. That they say that is the reason why Africa didn't get any actual mid laner. Because they
you really gotta do Fly like that.
Fly, I question Fly a lot. No disrespect to Fly, but I question Fly a lot. I've heard that that's one of the reasons why they didn't go for another mid laner for Chovy, for example. It's because they have that mid laner and there's so much hope on him. So it's interesting for me at least. I'm not sure. Obviously, it's a rookie like you're saying, but it's interesting to say the least.
The savior of Africa, huh? If they actually manage
The thing
to
is,
get
Africa
Rangers
with a mid laner, I think qualifies for Worlds. Like Africa was a really good team, but the mid lane difference was so huge. So I think that it's interesting to look forward to if Africa finally can perform.
Say hi.
This podcast really devolved. That's a new pleb, by the way. Our new analyst. Our new analyst.
We needed the LCK side of things.
Yeah, we do. For LPL, I heard this might be the interesting one for you, TDS though. Kanavi, I heard he's in talks. I heard he's in talks with Genji.
Yeah.
That will be spicy.
The problem with Genji Kanavi for me is the same thing that happened with Peanut, in the sense that it's not the players you need to change; it's the core.
I mean, to be fair,
Because that's what kind of kills them.
I think Kanavi, based on their playstyle at least, is a much more cerebral player.
Yeah, in that regard, yeah. But I think that he's cerebral, but he's also aggressive, and that's kind of the trait that I don't want.
I think
him to
Genji
lose.
needs to do one other thing. Can you get a better top laner, please?
100%. I think that although I think they are going to stick with Bordeaux.
I think they're
I
gonna
think
stick with Bardal, but
Rascal
he's
is
far
out
too
and Bordeaux is...
Yeah, but Bardal is far
Bordeaux.
too inconsistent.
He's 17 years old though, so...
I mean,
Fair enough.
they gave him Morelia and threw him to the wolves. I don't know what you
Like,
expect.
I think that Brutal. My problem with Brutal was, like you're saying, consistency, but also he was thrown into an environment where I think that he was just being there because Rascal wasn't reliable enough. But now that they will have enough season, and if they do get Kanavi, I think Brutal will be a nice option to get. But I would have liked that they get that Kanavi goes to Hanwha, even though it's
That's
not
not gonna
realistic.
happen.
If they can
That's not
get
gonna happen.
Hanwha, that would be good. Like, because Joey with an actual jungler would be great.
No, that's not allowed. Chobi's not allowed to have an actual junglers in Tarzan. It's in the
Problem is that
contract.
Morgan is still there. So,
Okay. So
I think
I mean, the other interesting thing that I've heard is that apparently Zika is going to change his team.
yeah.
Aiming is also
I heard-
possibly coming back.
I heard Zika is coming back to LCK as well with Kanabi. Not in the same team, but he's coming
No,
back.
but if he's coming back, then we see this rotating wheel with mid laners in the LPL. It's like, yeah, that's interesting.
I mean, if you're
Kirby's changing his team, Knight is changing his team.
yeah, true. A lot of mid laners are
There's
starting
not-
to shuffle.
I mean, then yeah, I guess there is a spot open for
Mole
Chovy.
is a free agent as well, so
I mean, oh
something
yeah,
to keep
Mole's
in
there.
mind.
I mean, there's a spot open for Chovy though. That means there's
I
a
think-
spot open for Chovy.
If he goes to LPL, I think that he's just going to want. There's only one thing that I can think of,
Which
and
one?
it's LNG.
LNG.
Just because I think that he will want to play with Thousand again.
Oh man,
That would be the only
that
thing
would
that I
be
think Chovy would
spicy.
I don't think anyone wants to. I don't think anyone would want to buy Icon at the rate he is because Icon's contract is
also
pretty
the-
long. Icon's contract is pretty long.
But that's also the only team that I think Chovy would want to go, because I think if Kanabi goes to LCK back, like that's the other jungler that I think Chovy wants to play with. It's Tarzan or Kanabi. So
I honestly think Willer showed a lot of good things, and
I mean,
feel
sure.
like
yeah,
Sure.
for
I
me,
feel
for
like-
me they need to change top. The thing that they need to change is top. Like for me, at least, that's the 100% the plays they need to make changes.
I agree. For HLE, definitely. Now, guess any more spicy rumors you guys heard, or like we can save it for another time.
We can save it for the next
yes,
episode.
you can
Yeah,
say
we-
it next time.
The real we're just talking about LCK and LPL because that doesn't get mentioned too much
Yes.
right now when it comes to roster rumors.
Because
Yeah.
Everyone's so
talking
focused on
about
EU and
TL
NA. Yeah.
and
Yeah, everyone's so
that team is
focused
good for
on
NA.
like, the team's good for NA.
Yeah.
Alright, that's fair enough. But you know what, guys? I think that's gonna be it for us right now here at the Plebcast. That was I think it's better that we went for more of the what do you call this? The conversational approach.
Freestyle?
Yeah, freestyle, where we don't really just change from one topic. I just brought up the two last topics because yeah, it's the most recent ones that I thought of,
Yeah.
the most recent developments. But yeah, I think I like this better where we just go off on tangents and yell at each other. Guys, when you argue, guys, give each other space, please. I'm just gonna say it right now.
It's all a process. We're still learning
Yeah.
Don't
Eventually,
each other's points.
eventually we'll get to the point where we can like talk to each other. I mean, ideally one day we'd be in the same room talking about this shit. But like,
Maybe.
ideally in the future.
Listen, if we can ever get the Colombian to Asia.
It'd be hilarious. Yeah, it's cheap, so don't worry. Like Colombian
Oh.
trips are cheap.
Or we could
No,
go
I'm
to
talking about
Colombia.
you coming to us.
Or we
Yeah,
could go to
that's what I
Colombia.
mean. That's what I mean. For going to summer from Colombia is cheap.
There we go.
Oh,
I mean, we're just come to the Philippines. We're basically Spanish Asians. You know, you'll feel right at home.
Basically, the Colombians from me.
Yeah, you're gonna feel right at home. But anyway,
no, come over here instead. The food's better here. That's what I say.
For that, so I would be willing to prepare food.
Throw down
That convinces
food.
me. Yeah,
Alright.
That convinces me.
all right, guys. Let's I have to end the podcast here. But thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, do all this thing that YouTubers tell you to do because you know it's important to get visibility, especially as small content creators. But we're gonna keep doing our best to improve. Anyway, my name is Miles David. That's Slayer on top, TDS on the bottom, and we will see you all next time.